Okay, and the last little bit I'll go over really quickly. It's basically about introduction and conclusions. Keep them simple. If you're writing to someone, the bulk of what you want to talk about is the meat of what you're talking about. It's going to be the organization of your thoughts. How are you going to share your information about the pros and the cons of using a tax preparation software? When it comes to introductions and conclusions, this isn't your typical college essay. You don't need a giant introduction. You don't need a giant conclusion. It's a waste of time and a waste of energy. Probably not going to be read. So introductions, an optional thing here is to credential yourself. And this is mostly if it's a cold email or someone or something like that, where the person who's receiving it doesn't know who you are. And it's not just saying what your name is, but saying what your name is and who you are. What's the point of what you're talking about? You're an expert in this field. You work at this place. Some kind of credentialing of yourself so that we know to pay attention to you. I say that's optional because in this class we really practice communication with a client or a colleague. And for the most part, they're going to know who we are. So you can forget about credentialing yourself in these shorter assignments that we do in this class. But you do want to credential the topic. And what that means is why you're writing. What's the point? I am responding to your question about. I heard you were having issues with. We have some changes we want you to be aware of. So it's previewing of what the issue is. A lot of changes have been made to this issue, so I need to tell you about what you can expect. Credentialing that topic, putting it out there. This is what we're going to be talking about. And then you also want to preview the structure or the form of organization you're going to be using. Avoid sharing your content. You don't want to, give away everything that you're going to say in the preview. You just simply say, and I'm going to share 3 important things you need to know. Or I have some pros and some cons to share with you. So how this would look would be your question about whether you should use this deduction or not was passed on to me, so I'm going to share the pros of using that and the cons of using that deduction. Period. End. Go on to your content. No need to put a lot of information into the introduction. You don't need to retell the story or give away the answer. It's just, this is why I'm talking to you, and this is how I'm going to tell you. On the other end are the conclusions. And all you have to do here is review the structure and give a courteous close. You don't need to summarize or revisit any of the issues. In writing, if they weren't sure about the second point, they can go back and read the second point again. You don't need to tell them twice. So your conclusion should be even more to the point. You also want to resist throwing in additional thoughts. That's not the junk drawer. Oh, one more thing. You don't want to do that in a conclusion. You just want to review the structure and give a courteous close. So I shared with you 3 important changes you need to be aware of. If you have any further questions, please let me know. End. Period. Done. That's all you need to do. You don't need to then say, I told you about these 3 issues, which are X, Y, and Z. Don't do it. Don't need to. Just share that you shared this. Give them a close. And then when you're writing something like this, my next advice is to take a walk. Really, truly. Before you hit send on an email that's really long or send out a report, get away from it for a little bit. Give it some space. Give your head some space to come back and be clear so that you can edit it, you can proofread it one more time, or that you can share with someone else to get some feedback. This is incredibly important when sending out that final report, that final email to your client, that final decision document. Give yourself a break, edit it again, proofread it again, get some feedback. If you do all those things, you're going to be an incredible writer, you're going to be a wonderful communicator, and people will want to hear what you have to say and will learn a lot from you as well.